In lessons 1 and 2, the students did some observations with algebra tiles of the relationship between addition and subtraction and the relationship between multiplication and division. So the first one we tackled was the relationship between addition and a subtraction. So the students were asked to put out a certain amount of algebra tiles. So let's say we started with 4 tiles. The students were then asked to add 2 tiles to that in a tape diagram. So we took 4 and we added 2. Okay? To understand the relationship between addition and subtraction, the students were then asked to take those 2 away and talk about, as a group, what they were left with. And we talked about what they remained with their tiles was 4. Okay? So we spent a lot of time thinking about what is the value of this. When you add 2 and you subtract 2 or do the opposite with these 2 operations, that value is 0. Because 4 plus 0, you are left with 4. Okay, so this is known as the additive identity element. The students are getting back the number that they started with, or they're getting the number's identity back by adding the number 0. Okay, this also works with subtraction. So the students were asked to pick another various amount of tiles. Let's start with 5 and subtract some from that. So let's say they subtracted 2. And they were asked to bring those same 2 that they subtracted back and add them to their tape diagram. And when they did that, they were supposed to discuss what they were left with. They were obviously left with 5. And this is just to show the students subtraction and addition are opposites of each other. They undo each other. Their value is 0. When you take 0 away from any number, you are left with the number's identity, or you get that number back. So the students were given problems like this for their homework. Just to give you a glimpse, and I'll do 1 or 2 here with you. They were asked to say, okay, fill in the blank. What plus 15 minus 15 equals 21? Since these are opposite, their value is 0. Okay, 21 should go here. Okay, then they were given another example, 450 minus 230 plus 230. These are opposites of each other. Their value is 0. This is 450. We also explored with the tiles, we did this with drawings, but I can do this with the tile, the relationship between multiplication and division. So the students were asked to get a certain amount of tiles out. It's easier, I think, to draw this relationship. Let's start with 6 tiles. The students were asked to take this amount of 6 and divide it into 3 equal groups. When they did this, they realized that 6 divided by 3 gives them a value of 2. There are 2 in each group. Okay? They were then asked to take that 2 and do the opposite of the divide by 3, which was times by 3. So you took the 2 and you again multiplied it by 3. 1, 2, 3 groups of 2, and your answer was 6. Okay, and then the students and I talked about this value, and we compared it to the addition and subtraction value. Plus 6 minus 6 has a value of 0. However, this does not have a value of 0. Okay, and we talked about 6 divided by what number is going to give you 6 back. It can't be 0. And the students came to the conclusion that 6 divided by 1 gives them 6 back. Okay, and you can do this in the reverse way too. You can start with 2. And you can say, okay, let's take 2 and multiply it. I just did 2 times 3. Let's take 2 and multiply it by 4. So there's 2. There's a group of 2. That's 2 groups of 2. This is 3 groups of 2. This is 4 groups of 2. You are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now to this expression. We talked a lot about the difference between expressions and equations. Take this value, and instead of multiplying it by 4, let's do its opposite. Let's divide it into 4 equal groups. And how much is in each group? And the answer is 2. Really just trying to get the students, to look at operations and their relationships with each other. So 2 times 1 would give you 2. This is known as the multiplicative identity. Okay, and let me show you some examples that they had to do for homework tonight with this identity. And they were right here. 56 times what number divided by 8 gives you 56? Well, if you're going to do divide by 8, you have to do the opposite. So they're canceling. So you're left with 56. Same here, 452 times 12 divided by 12 gives you 452. And that was the sum of our start of algebra today.